Hi everyone, how are you doing? Hope you all are having a great day. Happy Tuesday. I feel like I haven't spoken to you all in forever, which I haven't actually. It's been a couple of days. So hope you all are having a great day wherever you are. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. As you know, this is a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Pula Guy, the chickens, Mama Mia, the Invictus community, and all of us here at Sussex Squad. So anyways, welcome everybody, all of my awesome friends joining me. I see quite a few more popping in. 35 of my fave people are here right now, so hopefully more of our favorite peeps will join us shortly. And I'm getting a little bit better at fading, I think. Or maybe I probably still suck at it, but anyways, welcome guys. How are you? I don't know about you, but I feel so full. I'm overwhelmed. My brain has too much information, and when my brain has too much information, I feel like I shut down, and I feel like, oh my gosh, I need time to digest and process and come up with some kind of thought. So, I don't know, a plan or something, but my brain is just overloaded right now. I don't know about you guys. I'm sure, you've probably been talking about it with Barrett and Duchess of Success and all the other Sussex positive podcasts around YouTube. So I haven't spoken to it with you, so I would love to be able to chat and see how it's been the last couple of days. You got enough information, enough Sussex food, as I should say. So hello, all my friends. Let's see who we have. Let's see. Emerald is here. Blackweed and Joan and Annie, Jessica, Dory, Mama Jane, Dolores, Gwendolyn, Sonia, Janet, Lucy Wynn, Mom. Yeah, I said Mama Jane already. Rochelle, Katarina, Joyce and Sharon and Alma, Sonia, Vanzola, Kids Indoors. Kids Indoors. Joan and Lynn and Alma, Gwendolyn. Awesome moderator Lydia is here. Hello, Lydia. Lydia saying, hello, welcome all. Thank you, Lydia. Always so welcoming in the chat. Let's see. Nash and Faith and Kathy, Sonia, Karen M are awesome. Other moderators are, hey, Karen M. Let's see. Hazel, Lorna, Sylvia, C-Mac, Mara, Joan. Oh, no, Jan, actually. Jan Martin. Lottie G is here. And Audrey, H. Knight, and Sima, Hope, Margaret, and Lorna is here. Hey, all. Nash is here. Welcome, everyone. I hope I didn't miss anyone. I see Terry, Adrian, Ma Jones is also here. Sonia, I think I said you already, Sonia. Amatula78. Amatula, I don't think I've seen you before. Welcome. If I missed you, I am so sorry. Again, my brain isn't quite functioning at the moment. It's just got a little bit too much information in it. So I am so sorry if I am not quite coherent today in what I say or how I think. It's just happens to me when I'm overloaded with things. So anyways, guys, how are you? I hope everyone had a chance to, listen to the podcast. I posted it in our community page, and I'm sure everybody else has been posting. And if you have Spotify, I'm sure you were jumping on Spotify at what I don't know, what was it, 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning, whenever it is it dropped. So I want to hear from you what you thought about it. I mean, I enjoyed it so much. I love Mariah Carey. I have loved Mariah Carey forever. And of course, we know Christmas does not happen until Mariah Carey says it happens. It does not start without Mariah Carey. I'm telling you, I just love her. I love just her rawness, her realness, how she just leans into being Miss Diva. And I love it. I love how she celebrates and enjoys it. And I love the fact that they spoke about diva and, different connotations, different, interpretations of that word, maybe, and how we take that word. Some people like bet. And some people is like, don't call me a diva. I'm not a diva. And we saw Meghan having a moment with that word. And so I want to hear from you. What did you guys think? What you got out of it? What lessons? What, tidbits? Whatever it is. I absolutely would love to hear where you are in it. H Night says H Night has not gotten to hear the podcast yet. H Night, get on it. Jump on it, H Night. I hope you have Spotify. And if you don't have the link, just checking our community page. It is also in the show notes. It's already there, so check it. Also, if you look in our community page, and I think I also put this in the community. I'm sorry, if you look in our show notes under show notes in the description of this video, you'll find also, along with the episode 2 link, is also the transcript, so you can read it. Even if you can't watch it, or if you just rather read things than listen to it, or you just want to have the notes just in case someone says something stupid and you just want to be like, no, that's not what they said. Here is the exact words. They have the entire transcript for every little word, every word that was said, in the podcast. The transcript has it, so you can definitely have that. The link is in the description of this video, so please take advantage of it. So I oh, well, that's why I haven't seen you here before. Amatola says, hi, Pedal, old listener, first comment. Well, welcome. I'm happy you're here. And so comment away. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear what you have to say. Amatula 78. So let's see. Oh, Anne says, bless Pedal and worldwide Sussex squaddies. Hello, blessings to you as well, my dear Anne. Hope you are doing well. Joy says the podcast number 2 is just as good as number 1. I found out so much more about Mariah. It was just like two friends talking about being biracial. Absolutely. And such important points too that they brought up, about maybe I should just put up my I forgot to put up my Mariah picture. There you go. The duality of diva with Mariah Carey. There's Miss Diva herself. I love her. Man, she and her little lambs. It's so many great things they talk about, including hair texture. And I know hair is such a big thing in our community, in the Black community. I'm probably one of the exceptions to this thing with hair in our Black community, because I am very anti-hair. That's why if I grow out my hair, it'll have braids in it. And if I don't, I cut right under the braids, and I have very, very short hair that I don't ever have to deal with my hair. Don't even have to comb it. I wash it, condition, and that's it. So I'm one of these people that have zero relationship with hair. I hate dealing with hair. So, but I know back in the day, we had a lot of hair issues. And probably why I'm so anti-hair, because we had a lot of stuff going on, and we'll get to that in a second with Mariah and Meghan. Actually, why don't we talk about it right now? Let's see, where is that slide? Let me see. And I'm thinking quite a few of us in this community might appreciate these things. If you've used any one of these products, I'd love to hear, because I use them all. And again, that's probably why I'm so anti-hair today, because I'm like, that was a mess. Actually, I never use Murray's. That's not true. I don't even know what the Murray's one is. That's maybe it was in my country. I don't know. I for some reason I just never knew about it until they talked about it, and one of our squaddies put it on Twitter. So that's the first time I was seeing that one. But all the others I've used, and including the S-curl thing, where it's so funny with me and the S-curl, because when I was growing up, when my hair grows out, it just looks like it just looks like a bush. I have very, very thick hair. Meghan talks about her thick curly hair. My hair is, when it grows out, is just very, very, very thick. And it's like a mop of hair. And so I always wanted to have curly hair. So then when S-Girl was a thing, I would put S-Girl in my hair so that I can have curly hair. And then, of course, you had to spray the S-Girl with all this stuff like the Free Curl and the pink oil thing. And, of course, you never know how much at least I didn't know how much to put in there. So there was always greasy thing running down my face. I think that's probably why I broke out so much. Running down my back, the oily thing, especially, I grew up in the Caribbean, so it's hot. And so... And the funny thing is I had long hair, like shoulder length hair at the time. And so, but I always wanted curly hair. So I always put the stuff in my grandmother's like, why are you putting all that stuff in your hair? You have beautiful hair. Why are you putting your stuff in your hair? Just put coconut oil in your hair. Which, when I was younger, that's all she put in her hair was coconut oil. But anyways, I would always put the S-Girl in my hair. So, because I wanted curly hair. Little did I know, the first time I cut my hair really, really short, underneath all that bush that I had, all that mop of hair that I had, is curly hair. And I was like, wait a minute. I was putting S-Girl in my hair, not realizing that underneath all that mop of hair that I had was actually the curls that I was wanting my whole life. And so needless to say, that was the end of my S-Curl, my pink lotion, and my, carefree curl spraying things in my hair. But it was just, so when they were talking about this stuff today, oh my goodness, it brought back memories. I don't know about, for you guys, I don't know if you've put any of this stuff in your hair, but I would love to know if you did, because I'm like, I can't be the only one other than Mariah and those guys in this community who have put this stuff in your hair. Let's see, I'm going to scroll real down, all the way down to see if anybody has ever... Tash says, Murray's for edges, as Meghan said. It's the slick down the hair. Oh, okay, well, there you go. No wonder I didn't know about Murray's, because I did not have hair to slick down. My hair was a big mop of... You comb it out and it's just like, pew! It just like it springs out of hair. So, yeah, that's probably why I didn't know about the Maurice part. Let's see. Cadle50 says, hi all, I use pink lotion and bergamot. Yes, bergamot, the blue grease. I did that one too. And also Royal Crown pomade. Oh my gosh. Now, I don't remember the Royal Crown pomade. I probably used it and didn't know what that was. But the pink lotion and bergamot, the blue one, I had that. I actually even used this in this country too when I moved here for a little bit. It's like, oh gosh. Andrea says the pink was the bomb in the day, kept the curls right. Did you know how much to put? And maybe I should have read the directions, which I don't think I ever did. That's probably why I never knew how much to put, and it always was too much. And I would always spray too much of the yellow. Well, there was actually that yellow one, but it was also the S-Girl one, which was the blue one. So I think it was like a blue and white bottle or something, if I'm mistaken. A white with the blue writing. I always did too much. And so I always had all that grease and the thing running down. Oh my goodness, that was a nightmare. And I strongly believe that's why I broke out. I had like acne like crazy. And I totally believe that's why I had so much acne, because I had all that grease all over my face all the time. 1988 Champions says, my older sister always coiled my hair until junior high. What is that, like you twisting it? That's what that means? I'm not sure. I don't know that word. So tell me, 98. I haven't seen you on here either. 1998 Champions. Hello and welcome. If I missed you, I am so sorry. Joe. Joe says, I 20 years. For the last 20 years, I've gone natural. Welcome. Oh my goodness. Yes, natural is the best, man. Not putting that stuff in your hair is the best thing for you. My Joe says I baked, boiled, and fried my hair. I'm telling you, the first time I did the hot comb, my grandmother was so upset because, my cousin, one, she did it on my head, but then she burnt my ears so badly. That was the things that I remember with hot comb, because it always touched my scalp and burned my ear. So I'd always, whenever I had it done, had a scar in my ear because it always touched my ear. That was my first memory of having my hair hot combed. It was not fun. Let's see. Frederica 27 says, my hair would snap comb despite being thin and short. The nuns would send my foster mom notes saying that my head was, that's just wrong. Saying that my hair was nappy. My mom would press it out on Saturday, and by Monday, my naps were showing. That's just so bad. That's so wrong, Frederica. Oh my goodness, they told you to your face that your hair was nappy? That's just wrong. Oh my goodness. That says, also pink lotion, which I hate the smell of. Yeah, it does have a wild smell. Actually, do I even remember the smell though? I don't know. I don't know if I remember what the smell is like, to be honest. Annie says, I use Carefree Curl on my natural hair now. Oh, you did? So is it good? I mean, is it the same as it was? The Carefree Curl? It's so funny. Like now I'm all natural. Like I make my own soaps, I make my own oils and stuff like that. So I just literally use oils. Like I don't use any products because I grew up, with all of these products, and I grew up with, lightening the skin. Like I think I talked about it on here before, using Ambi and Esoterica and all that stuff. And so for years now, like I stopped all that stuff, but then I started just doing natural stuff. And the only thing like I use on my face and my hair is oils, like, sweet almond. I just use mixture of sweet almond and avocado oils and stuff like that. That's what I use literally on my skin. I don't use any other like products on especially my face and my hair. It's like oils, gone right back to what my grandmother used to do. Except, she used to bathe us in coconut oil. That's the only one I haven't had coconut oil in a while, but she used to bathe us in that. But it's just like my grandmother, I'm telling you, if I had only listened to what this woman said, I would never go wrong, because nothing she has told me to do or she would do with us has ever been proven wrong. I was like, if only I had listened, but who listens to grandma, So, let's see. Joyce, scrolling up, Joyce says Meghan had a lot of information about other black women. Some of the issues may be over the heads of the RR and the UK press. They're issues just about black people, so I know they cannot relate. There are definitely, I think one of the things that Meghan and Mariah talked about, just coming off the hair, which was a great conversation, guys. Thank you for indulging me there. It's just the different treatment, like how, as a black person you're treated, how as a biracial person you're treated, and the difference. And I actually have, let's see, I think I have a quote. Like I said, I don't have anything in order here. I just took out quotes, and my brain isn't there where I can like formulate things at the moment. So I was like, I'm just picking out quotes. But this is a quote that between Mariah and Meghan, and Meghan had talked about the difference, like how trying to fit in as a black person, as a biracial person, how you're not, how you're not white enough for the white community and you're not black enough for the black community. So you're treated basically as an other, and you're sort of in between these two worlds. And I've talked about this quite a bit, and I remember doing a long thread about this when Thandi Newton was going through her thing. But Mariah talked a little bit about it, and then I'll just read what it says. It says Mariah says, I live with my mom, and we moved like 14 times. So I had nothing, no money, no nothing, nothing. I would see these people on TV, and their hair was like flowing in the wind, and that's why I always have the wind. I'm like, well, I'm going to have that. I'll have that. But it was, I didn't fit in. It would be more of the black area of town, or then you could be where your mom chose to live, which is more the white neighborhoods. I didn't fit in anywhere at all. And Meghan says, Meghan was talking about, an interview with Halle Berry about this issue about how biracial people are treated, darker skinned biracial people are treated differently than lighter skinned biracial people. Darker skinned biracial people, like, for example, Halle Berry, I mean, to me, she's lighter skinned, but to somebody like, say, Meghan or Mariah, she is darker skinned because they're much fairer skinned than her. Halle Berry or, say, Barack Obama, who are darker skinned biracial, they are treated as black. Her and Mariah, lighter, they're more so the whiter leaning of them. So it's very different. And so Meghan goes on to say, and she says, and I think for us it's very different because we're light skinned. You're not treated as a black woman. You're not treated as a white woman. You sort of fit in between. I mean, if there's any time in my life that's been more focused on race, it's only once I started dating my husband. Then I started to understand what it was like to be treated like a black woman. Because up until then, I had been treated like a mixed race woman. And things really shifted. And then Mariah says, but that's an interesting thing. A mixed woman. Because I've always thought it should be okay to say I'm mixed. Like, it should be okay to say that. But people want you to choose. And it's one of the things Meghan always, she's always identified as biracial. So she's never gone like, obviously she totally embraces her blackness, and embraces her mom and, and all that stands for. But she also fully embraces her dad's side of things, well, not her dad at the moment because of, him and his mess right now, but that side of the family. I mean, she took care of her grandmother and, on his side until she passed and all of those things. So she fully embraced both sides. And I totally understand where they're coming from with, they should be able to say I'm mixed and it'd be okay. They should be able to be like, okay, I am both of those things and be accepted in both. But there is this thing where they're not a lot of times, because as we've seen with Meghan, she is not white enough she's not white enough for white people, and she literally is not black enough for some of us in the black community. And so it's kind of like I'm always thinking like, well, if we're doing that to someone, where do they fit then? They're sort of in the middle there trying to figure out, well, where do I fit in? That is a horrible place for anybody to be, to feel like I'm part of both of these groups of people, one of these two, equal parts of each of these two cultures, but neither one fully accept me. And that is so damaging for children, especially growing up and feeling like I'm not accepted. And that's why I'm always like, I can't speak for the white community. I'm not part of the white community. I can't speak for them. I can only speak for us and my community, is that we need to embrace. We need to make sure that our kids who are mixed race feel loved and feel taken care of and feel that they know you are part of us. And it's fine that you accept the other part of yourself because you are, and no, for me, nobody should go around feeling like then they're an other, and she talked about that, and she talked about not being afraid to check off a box. I think she was filling out some form at school or whatever, and it has white and it has black, and there was nothing for her. And she's like, and she said her dad told her to draw her own box. And I thought, for all that the mess that her dad has become, he did give her some good advice, draw your own box. And it's sad that she had to draw her own box instead of feeling a part of, I am mixed race and it's okay to be mixed race. So I completely agree with Mariah there that they should not be made to choose one way or another in order to feel part of one community or another. I feel like we have to extend, both sides extend to make sure that kids who are, they are biracial to no fault of their own. Two people just happen to fall in love or however they got here and make a child, a beautiful child. We should all embrace them and not make them feel like they have to choose one side or another, and it's like, it's okay. And so hopefully we're getting into more, the upcoming generation seems to be a more accepting generation of different cultures, of different types. And my hope and prayer is that is the case, that we're not making kids feel like, well, I have to be a certain way so I can be accepted, or I have to, it's like, no, it's like you're part of both and that should be okay. And so that's kind of, and I'm so happy they brought this up because there's a whole big, I don't know how many of you are in Twitter. I know some of us are not, and but there's a whole topic of conversation going on about that. And so, which is good. Some people are not happy with it. Some people are happy. But the good thing about it is that conversations are being had about this. And I think all of our cultures need to talk about this because we have issues about this in all of our cultures. I know, again, I can't speak for the white among us. I can speak for us in the Black community. We have issues with this. We have big issues with this, and we need to deal with our issues with this. So, and it's great that we're talking about it, airing whatever grievances we have, because there are situations, one of the situations like, oh, but, the fairer skin of us get better treatment. I know my family is very mixed cultured, and so I have varying shades in my own family. And yes, that's how I grew up. My sister, who is lighter skinned than I am, she got better treatment. It's just, I talked about powdering my face to you guys before. One of the reasons I did that was because I wanted better treatment, because I thought back then, I didn't know. I thought if I powdered my face, I'd look lighter skinned. And it didn't think about the rest of my body. It didn't cross my mind back then. But so there is that issue as well where you think like, okay, they get better treatment and all of that stuff. But so these conversations are so necessary. And so I am so happy that, Archetypes it's sparking those conversations of people are being able to talk freely about wherever they are in this issue. Let me see, I'm going to jump in the chat and see where you guys are with it, what you're thinking about it. And yeah. Lorna says, hi, Lorna Williams. How are you, my dear? Lorna says, I remember in the early Tiger Woods interview where he tried they tried to call him Black, and he corrected them and he said he was biracial. There you go. And so I didn't know about this, but yeah. And so he identifies as biracial, and that's fine. He can. For me, it's like, people can identify how they identify. And so, yeah, it's like he is half, I think his mom is Thai. I think she's from Thailand, and his dad is Black from the United States, and he identifies as both. So there you go. I'm sure that didn't sit well in some corners, as is, because again, and I think all of us are like this. We feel safer in with boxes. We feel safer if we can put things in a box and then we can label that box, and it's like, okay, whew, I have some control over that thing, but once we don't have control of the labels and the boxes, then it's just like, oh my God, that thing or that person could become anything and we can't control. And it's just like, so I'm glad he corrected and, correctly stated who he is and how he identifies. And I think people should have a right to identify however they wish. Again, this is, not everybody's going to agree with me, and I understand that. That's just how I think. Let's see. Frederica says, she's talking to the chosen one. I know so many Africans who have scars from bleaching their skin. Yeah, I mean, they're on YouTube have some very jarring videos. I remember when I was doing research about it. It was interesting that I didn't know so many people did bleach their skin, and you do it, again, I did it as a child. And so it was very jarring to see that African, actually, not just African, a lot of Asian countries, darker skinned people in Asian countries, especially, I'm sorry. Yeah, Asia, and, obviously a lot of Caribbean countries, and also men, black men also do it as well. And I didn't realize that until I watched that video. And a part of so like a documentary, they were talking about the dangers of it, and they were literally telling people about the dangers of bleaching your skin and using those products. And it was more like, they rather die than stop with the bleaching, because it gave them opportunity. When you bleach your skin, you get lighter and you get better opportunities. And it's a sad fact. It is a sad fact, but Asian countries like India and stuff like that, with the darker skin among us, do that as well. It's very, very sad to see. C-Max says, ironically, my sister is lighter and has coarse hair, and I'm brown and have curly hair. I'm asked more than she is if I'm mixed or Southeast Asian Indian. Oh, wow. I'm telling you, I mean, how does your sister feel about, I mean, is that an issue for you guys, C-Mac? I mean, you don't have to share, but I'd love to hear if that is an issue, or what, what thoughts and what you guys have thought about it, or if you have thought about it, if you want to share. Again, I don't want to pry, but that'd be interesting to hear, any, like, if you had any conversation about it and what you thought. Mercedes says, hi Mercedes, she says, Japanese women that make their face white are considered more beautiful by using white lightener and white foundation on their face. And it's just, you see that a lot with them, just very, very, very white. And I didn't realize that they were using lightener. I just thought it was like white powder to just make it really, really white. But I didn't realize it was a lightener as well, because at least the people that I've seen is just, they are very, they look like white. I mean, other than the fact that they are Japanese. So I didn't realize they were doing that as well. But thanks for the information, Mercedes. Interesting. Federica says, India, Pakistan, Brazil, Philippines bleach their skins. It's $1 billion industry. Yeah, and that was part of the documentary. It was like $1 billion industry that is killing people. And so they were basically trying to educate, people in black and brown countries, and holding these companies to account, because it's literally killing people, so yeah. Oh, Nutty Doctor, thank you so much. Thank you. And all the wonderful people that she is saying hi to. Angela Churchy. Church Nelly, you're here? Oh, I didn't see you. Church Nelly, Fancy, Diana Lane. Bleaching of the skin is still common in Africa. Yes, it is. Unfortunately. And again, it goes back to opportunities, because you feel like the lighter skin among, and that's where I think a lot of the either the competition, the jealousy, or the just, you know, resentment comes in, because there is a person who is lighter skinned, and they get more opportunities, not because, and not to say that the person may not be in, have the same qualifications or whatever, but if it's very, very clear that you didn't get a position because you are darker skinned, and someone else got it because, and they're lighter skinned and you have the same qualifications, I could totally understand how there could be, there could be friction there. And again, this goes back all the way back to slavery. It goes all the way back to what has happened. The darker skin of us were hanging out, working in the fields. They made us work in the fields, and the lighter skin were in the house. And it goes all the way back there, so hello. I always say, the first time I learned about colorism and all that stuff, it was in my own family, because the lighter of us. So funny, my mom and I were talking about that not too long ago, because again, my family's kind of mixed race, and so we have varying shades of black, and so the lighter skin of us, again, got better treatment. In schools, it was the same thing. The lighter skin in our school were the teacher's pet. I am a darker skin. I was not, and so it caused me a lot of angst, hence the powdering of my face, and so it just, and as you grow up, is that's what was celebrated. And I talked about, my Sunday school teacher, Helen, how I really idolized her, because she's very light skinned and she's glasses and all of those things. And I was like, I want to be just like her. And, that's all where that whole thing comes from. It's just, yeah. But let's see. Lydia says, it seems in all cultures a lighter complexion is preferred, and especially for women. Yeah, it's, definitely preferred, especially in a lot of times where, even in relationships, like, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife, there is the thing where a lot of, especially again, I can't speak for white men, but Black men would choose the lighter one. So there's also that friction because of all of those things. So that's why I'm so happy, again, that Meghan has talked about this, so that all of these issues could come up, so that we can have these conversations and talk openly, and to be able to figure them out, work them through, and prayerfully heal from this slavery, slave mentality that was handed down to us, so let's see. Oh, this is so great. Thank you, Compton Caligal. She says, the Black Panthers was an influence in my neighborhood back in the day, where they taught Black is beautiful. And this is so needed. This is so needed. If you guys remember, what was it last year that Beyonce came out with Brown Skin Girl? Brown Skin Girl. Na, na, na. I don't remember the lyrics of it. All I remember is Brown Skin Girl, and Brown Skin Girls was celebrated. And so that is so what we need, for us to see, like, all different shades of brown. Is beautiful. And I love that. I mean, we need that so much in our communities. Let's see. Sylvia says, Pebble, after Meghan and Harry interview with Oprah, I was watching a podcast, and I really used to like, but when one of the Black male co-hosts said he saw Meghan only as another white woman, I felt sad. Yeah. And this is the thing. It's like, she's not white enough for some Black people, and she's not Black enough for some Black people, and she's not white enough for some. And again, it's kind of like when you do and you allow yourself, okay, you can have the thought, but when you stay there, you have to think like, okay, there's a person you're talking about who may hear this. And if this is what I'm thinking, I have to work through why that's my thought process, and then go back and figure, okay, is that the truth though? Just because that's how I see her, is she just a white woman? Is she really a white woman? We can't stay in that mentality and then broadcast that, because you have to think there's a human being you're talking about, who that is not her reality. She's not a white woman. She's never been treated like a white woman. She's just treated like an other. I literally had to correct someone on Twitter today and tell her what she was tweeting. It was a lie. And she was like, oh, okay, sure. I'm like, no, it's the fact. I literally had to do that today. It was a black woman I'd never seen her before. I was scrolling and I happened on her. And she was tweeting that, yeah, because Meghan is always, she's always treated like a white woman. And I was like, no, that is a lie. She's not treated like a white woman. She's treated like an other. Just look at the casting, look at, the struggles to get roles and all of those things in the community that she was in. She was always treated like nobody knew where to place her. Because everybody's looking for a box. Like, I literally had to correct somebody like that today. And it's just sad. It's like, if that what you're thinking, go back and look at the fact. Okay, who is Meghan Markle? Who is her mother? What does her mother look like? You know what I mean? Who is her mother? Who is her father? Is she really a white woman? Really? And so this is the kind of ignorance that I really like. Okay, you can have an ignorant thought, but at least go back and look at the facts before you broadcast that thing, and it's just, I don't understand why people don't do stuff like that. I don't get it. Anyways, moving on. Let's see who else others are saying in the chat. Let's see. C-Mac says the complexion isn't an issue for us, but she's envious of my hair texture. I really think in our culture here is probably more of an issue than the skin tone, especially if your hair is long. Yes, I totally get that. Hair is a thing, because as we were looking at earlier, I think it was Frederica was saying that, the nun, I guess, at her school said her hair was nappy, and hair texture and long hair is a thing, because as we know in our community, long curly hair is beautiful, but short hair or hair that is not as curly or soft or whatever is considered nappy, or it's not beautiful. So when someone will have that hair, it's always like it's like you're judged by something you had nothing to do with the hair you got. You got what you got. God gave you what He gave you, but then you're being judged by something that you have no control over. And so that's what, so next thing what happened is, in order to get what is social, what's socially acceptable, or what is seemingly beautiful, we put all this junk in our hair, where we're either coloring our hair or straightening our hair, or like myself, hot combing and burning my ears out and my scalp out, and then putting S-curl in the whole mess, just to have what is supposedly beautiful, And then in my case, when first time I cut under my hair, is to realize I actually have the hair that I always wanted. I just didn't know. It was just buried under all my, mop of hair that I had, but it's so sad. I mean, I hope, C-Mac, that you guys have worked through, or that your sisters worked through this, and that this hasn't been like an issue in your relationship or anything. I hope, I mean, there's one thing, voice, whatever, but, I hope it hasn't been any kind of a issue in your relationship. So, yeah. Oy. Let's see. Let's see. Scrolling up, I just want to see what y'all are saying. Black Queen says, we're all of one human race. People need to stop with the color and skin measurement. Is evil. It totally is, because it caused so much division. It caused so much, again, that stuff has been passed down to us, and we're just carrying it on. And that's why, and I think it's buried in so, because nobody wants to admit, or at least, C-Mac's sister at least was honest to admit, that, or at least bring it up, that that's an issue. But a lot of times nobody wants to admit, like, I'm just jealous of your hair, or I just, I feel hurt that you get promotions because you're lighter than me, and I'm dark. Nobody wants to talk, because it's kind of like one of those things, like, you don't want to admit stuff like that. You don't want to admit that you feel hurt, and you don't want to admit that I didn't want to admit that I felt hurt because my sisters were treated better. Or at least I grew up with one sister. My sister was treated better, and people liked her because she was lighter skin. I don't want to have to talk about those things. Because for me, it's embarrassing. So what do? I went off and powdered my face. You know what I mean? And so we do all these things to not have to deal and not have to talk about those things. And so I'm glad that, hopefully more and more and more these podcasts, as it deconstructs these things, that we'll be talking about these things and be able to move past them, And it's an evil thing that was passed down to us, and we need to be able to exercise that evil and to come out of that where we're more accepting of ourselves and then more accepting of each other. Let's see. Vanzola says Tiger Woods' mom said she would not be denied, and she shouldn't be. She is one half of him. Obviously not. If I was his mother, I would have completely be like, excuse me. I think his mother is, what is she? Again, I think she's from either Thailand or Philippines. One of them, I am thinking it's Thailand. But I would be very offended if I have a child and, and the mixed race, and I would say, my husband or boyfriend, whatever he is. And then my child would choose, to associate with one side and not the other. I would be completely offended. So I don't blame her one bit. I'd be like, especially as a mother, I'd be like, dude, I carried you 9 months. You better acknowledge, So yeah, I totally agree with her. And Black Queen again says, we need to get our minds off the plantation. It is past time, just as much as whites and other races need to see us as human first and foremost. Very, very true. I mean, you can't make people see you anyway, but you can. I mean, I think we can be of what, lift each other up and be more united with each other. And whether they see us as, human or not, I mean, we can't control how somebody sees us. But we can make sure that we're not, carrying on the mentality they passed on to us. We can definitely make sure we don't do that. Kathy Gabby says, hello, Kathy Gabby. Harry was called a race traitor, but that is the mindset of the majority of Meghan haters. The great discussion for those open to buy multiracial realities. Yeah, I mean, it's like, look, there's so many, there's so many mixtures of us. I don't understand. And I think for me, I am grateful that my family has different, I grew up, again, our family has different culture, different races in us. And so I'm so happy that I grew up with a bunch of different cultures around me, so that way that I feel like I was exposed to a lot of things. So, and a lot of cultures, so that I just feel like would be weird. It would be weird to be in a situation where it's just like one race or one culture, like, and then I live in New York, so it's like there's just a melting pot of all kinds around me. And so I feel like, so I feel very grateful, really grateful to be a part of that, but not everybody has that. And so some people have to really do get out of their environment wherever they are to be able to experience that. So I'm really grateful that I've experienced that my entire life. So yeah, so for me, that's, yeah. But again, not everybody has that. And so it would take a lot more effort for them to get out of themselves and to be able to be a part, or at least, contribute to this in a positive way. I hope that makes sense. Diane Hawkins. Hey, Diane says, President Obama said before he's the president, when trying to hail a New York City cab at night, he's black. Yeah. Darker skin. Yep. Yep. And again, President Obama is biracial. His mom is white and dad is black. And yeah, you look at him, you think black, and he's treated as a black man. And so it's, yeah. Yes. We really need to get out of these mentalities. Let's see. I'm scrolling up to see what I miss. Lydia says, I appreciate all lighter-skinned brothers and sisters are sharing that things are not rosy for them, as it may seem. I'm learning some new things. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why I feel so strongly about making sure we are embracing our biracial brothers and sisters, because I wouldn't want to be in a situation where I feel like I don't belong anywhere. I know, or, worse yet, that I am not accepted anywhere. I'm not white enough for the whites. I'm not black enough for the blacks. Where do they fit? Where do they fit in? And if we're not embracing and extending and welcoming them in, then what are they supposed to do? And again, I can only speak for us in the Black community because I'm Black. I feel like it's on us to do. It's on us to make sure that they feel loved. I can't. People want to identify however they want to identify. Some may want to identify as Black. That's fine. Some may want to identify, as biracial. That is fine. People identify how they identify, but I feel like, it is so important that we make sure that they know that they are loved and that they are wanted. And for me, that is the key to a lot of things. I think a lot of us struggle with mental issues, mental health issues, all of these things, because one of the things that is always there is they're not feeling wanted. They're not feeling accepted. People are not feeling loved. They're not feeling like they are, that they're not accepted. And that's the one thing I'm like, I just want to make sure people know that, you know what? I will embrace you. I will love you. You can do whatever you want. It's like, I will embrace you and love you. So there. Let's see. Going on. I am going to go all the way. We have a new member, J-Matt. Hey, welcome, J-Matt, to the Two Cents Crew. Thank you so much. I am so happy that you have joined us. Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you. Welcome to the Two Cents Crew. Let's see. Kathy Gavi says, peddle the one drop rule has contributed to the mess. Yeah, it's just like the it's like, if you have one drop of black in it, then you're considered black. And so it just, again, these things that will pass down, it has messed us all up. And so for me, it's all stuff like these, and, it just, slavery, the whole bit is just, all of it was just there to mess up Black people. And, hopefully, as, I'm hoping in my lifetime that we would, get much further than where we are with it. But, the next, the generation coming up after us, again, they are definitely a lot more welcoming and a lot more willing to embrace, differences and all of those things. So at least I feel confident that the next generation coming, they'll have a little bit more sense of, what that needs to be and what it needs to look like. I hope that we're all still alive to be able to experience that with them, So yes, because I want our community to be our community and not be burdened with this kind of pain. So yeah. Let's see what else they do. What else they talked about. Let's see what else I got in here. Oh, talk about hair. I was just I love this story. Meghan, it was Meghan and her grandmother. Meghan said her grandmother would tell her to hold on to the sink and then to brush her hair. And she would just take a brush and just pull it through her hair. That just make me, I'm like, yep, I have those eyes. Just like, grandma's like, hold on to the sink, Meghan. I just love this. I mean, I look at Meghan hair, it's like, poof. She has a lot of hair. She always talked about her long curly hair. She has a lot of hair. I mean, now it's straightened. She goes straight, and I totally understand why she would straighten it out. Again, I had my hair when it grows out is a mop of hair, and it's hard to deal with stuff like this. And so I do not begrudge anybody who do what it's like. Yes, products and all of that stuff, but Lord, dealing with that much hair, I don't envy anybody having to deal with it. So yeah, but I just thought it was it was just very funny just imagining grandma. I mean, I don't know if her grandma last name was Raglan, but in my mind she's Grandma Raglan telling Meghan like, hold on to the sink. It was just funny. Let's see. Oh, I don't know if Amanda Seales, like, I didn't really know Amanda Seales, like, I don't really know anything about her, but she was on the first part of the episode, as for those of you who listened to it already. She was on the first part of it, and she talked about DIVA, like what DIVA meant to her, and how it changed from this positive thing, and then it changed into this negative thing about her. And this is a little bit about what she said. I'm going to just read it. It says, Meghan says, the voice, well, Amanda was talking, and then Meghan said, the voice belongs to actor and comedian Amanda Seales, whom you may know from her work on the show Insecure. I had never seen Insecure, so those of you who've seen it, I think it just went off the air or something, but very successful series. Now in high school, Amanda joined a performing group called the Divas, and she wore the word proudly. She carried it like a badge of honor in her college years. And so Amanda was saying, when I did my first spoken word performance, I signed up on the list like Amanda, and then I put diva in parentheses because it felt dumb to just put diva was like Amanda. Then I put diva in parentheses, and then the woman introduced me as like, coming on stage, we have Amanda Diva. And I was like, ooh, I like that. And it stuck. And so I went by Amanda Diva for years. And then Meghan cut in and she said, that is until several years after college when Amanda Diva started getting some pushback. And so Amanda explained, says, I remember going on a job interview in for a radio station, and the program director telling me straight up, like, you're not going to be going on a show. You're not going to be on with this name. And I'm like, but I'm already like on MTV, like with this name. And he was like, well, that is a dumb name. And so she started getting pushback on, being called diva. And I think that was when her, it started turning from this positive thing that she was wearing like a badge to this negative thing. And again, when we talk about diva, it has this negative vibe to it, and it's so funny because, and we'll talk about that in a second, but Meghan talked about, and we got to see a little bit of what it meant to Meghan to be called a diva, and we'll talk about that in a second. But even before this, I think I have this slide here, and again, I am all over the place with this because, again, I had no I had no cohesive plan here. Meghan and Mariah were sort of breaking down what diva meant, and so Mariah was talking about it, and she's like, yeah, it's really basically means somebody, it's like an opera singer. They're the big, I guess, like the star opera soprano person, and so she was like, yeah, but it's off the top of my head. I don't have like the literally like the say the dictionary or definition of it. And Meghan was like, no, you're basically you're right. And so Meghan was saying, I'm looking at my notes going, you're exactly right, because I'm looking at it saying in the 17th century, the term originally referred to a leading voice in an opera, a prima donna. But in the 19th century, it is used to refer to a leading soprano who becomes famous and celebrated, that they almost become like goddess-like in the eyes of their adoring public. But then it turned, and this is all in your brain. It says in the mid-20th century, both terms prima donna and diva, although still used in an operatic term, has become more generalized and slightly derogatory remarks referring to an ambitious, that word ambition again, demanding and in showbiz, a demanding woman in show business. And so that's kind of where we have diva right now, because as they talked about, what was it in the late 90s, early 2000, whatever, we're all into Divas Live. We all were into that. I mean, that was the big thing. Aretha and Mariah and all those, we were all into Divas Live and all of that stuff. And that was the big thing, to have all these incredible singers. And then now it's just like, a diva is like, acting like you're a celebrity. You want all this stuff. And so it's just really, it's sad that, it has become this. And, obviously people weaponize that word, a lot of times, like, celebrities, like, it's like, can I have a drink of water? Oh, she was acting like such a diva, and so again, that is thrown at women. And if you remember, they even said like a divo is a guy, and we know a lot of guys who basically fit that so-called diva attitude, that negative stereotype, but nobody called them a divo. Nobody ever throw that at them, I don't even know what they call guys who behave like that, but they don't call them that. And at least it's not thrown at them in the same way it's thrown at women. And it's interesting, that same ambitious that, Meghan talked with Serena last week about that ambition. Anytime like a woman who's ambitious, who's going for whatever dream they have, and they're succeeding or at least pursuing, we get these stuff thrown at us, especially if we're Black, like us, like I'm Black woman, we get thrown, that we're ambitious, we're diva, that we're demanding. That's a big thing, that we are demanding, because we're going forward for what we want. We're demanding, and so it is just wild, that's, I guess that's why I understand people would want to run away from being termed a diva, and it's so funny. Like, did you guys notice when Mariah called Meghan? And I love that she did this, because when Mariah called her a diva, she flustered and she's like, no, really? No. And Mariah kind of like qualified what she said, that it wasn't a negative way she was saying that Meghan was a diva. But in that moment, the real feeling of Meghan came out. It was just like, I'm a diva? You're calling me a diva? Oh no! And one of the things that I love about this, and again, this is Meghan's podcast. She could have edited that out. She could have edited that whole thing out of her responding to how she naturally responded in that moment when Mariah called her a diva. And Mariah was saying she was a diva in a positive way, basically complimenting the way she dressed. But when Meghan heard the word, it triggered what the press says about her. that all those nasty things the press says, that she's demanding, she's bossy, she is bully, she is rude, all of those things is what went back to Meghan. And so her thing, and so again, she could have totally taken that out of it, but I am so glad she didn't. And then she dealt with it in the bottom at the end of it, and I love that she did that. I'm like, thank you, Meghan, for being so honest about that, because it was so important and so needed that she did that. Let's see. I think I have it here. I think this is it. Is this it? Yeah, okay. So this is part of again, like I said, I'm all over the place with this. So Meg, this is a part of what she's talking. I didn't pull in the whole thing, but I'm gonna start from my mind generally was just spinning, because she's talking about when Mariah called her a diva, what was happening in her mind at the moment. And she says, my mind generally was just spinning with what nonsense she must have read or clicked on to make her say that. I just kept thinking in that moment, was my girl crush coming to a quick demise? Does she actually not see me? So she must have felt my nervous laughter, and you all would have heard it too. Yes, I heard it. And she jumped right in to make sure I was crystal clear. When she said diva, that she was talking about the way I dress, the posture, the clothing, the quote unquote fabulousness as she sees it. She meant diva as a compliment, but I heard it as a dig. I heard it as the word diva as I think of it. But in that moment, as she explained it to me, she meant it as chic and aspirational, and how one very charged word can mean something different for each of us is mind-blowing to me. And then she goes on. But I think this was so important, because I know there was one of those garbage people, one of the garbage twins, already had a dig about Meghan, like, if Mariah called her a diva. And of course, they will try any negative thing with this. But I love that Meghan was so honest and so humble and so, just open to allow us to see that. Because again, this is her podcast. She could have had all of that stuff edited out. There is no way and no reason why we're seeing this, other than the fact that she wanted us to see her in a real and raw moment of what diva meant to her. Because the moment Mariah said it, you could hear the fluster, And so I am so glad that she addressed it and she didn't shy away from it at all. And I was just like, yeah, that is what we need. That kind of rawness, that kind of realness, because I would have been like, oh, no, it's okay. And I would have probably hit and ran, because it's Mariah. I don't want to admit to Mariah. And then I wouldn't be her little lamb anymore. Probably I would be thinking, and I'd want to be her lamb. But I really appreciated her doing that. I mean, I don't know if you guys picked up on it, if you saw it, what it means to you, but I really appreciated her dealing with that and allowing us to see that. I mean, girlfriend could have edited that whole thing out. Like, I edit videos like this, so I would have, I could have edited that out. I probably would have. I was like, I'd be too embarrassed to admit that. But probably knowing me, I probably would have left it. But I would like to think, let's just say I would like to think I would have left it. But I would have been really embarrassed because, again, I wanted to be Mariah's lamb. Let's see what you guys are saying. Karen Werner. Hi, Karen. Karen says, sounds like someone was jealous and have an attitude that changed the meaning to something negative. The way Karens are being used, the way Karen is being used. I wonder what they would about me, and I am a Karen. This is another thing too. Because yes, Karen is that stereotype. Yes, that, negative. When you think of a Karen now, it's that you think of a negative stereotype. It's like a woman who is calling the manager on someone. But then here we are, your name is Karen. You know what I mean? How, and you could tell me, Karen, you can tell us if you'd like, what does that do to you? How do I would assume it is probably infuriating, because if pedal was being called being used in a way that a Karen is being used, it would be hurtful to me, because you don't want your name attached to that. You don't want your name, especially if your behavior is in no way in no way like that. It has to be very hard. So you tell me. I mean, we have a couple Karens, Karen M, who is here as well. So if you want to share with us what that does, because and I had never thought about it until you just said it. Now I know. It's like, okay, I am going to think and not ever use that again, because here we have in our community 2 Karens, and they are not like that, but yet the name and something attached to them is used in that way because other people's bad behaviors, and so that name is attached to them. But it's like, but we have people here that is nothing like that. So if you want to share, Karen M or Karen Warner, I would love to hear what you have to say, or what you yeah. So yeah, definitely put it in the chat. Love to hear it. If you want to, no pressure at all. Let me just say, no pressure at all. Sylvia says, Diane, she's talking to Diane. I heard the garbage twin tried to use the diva against Meghan was drag. Well, he should be. I mean, hello, and the thing, I'll tell you, to all our squatties on Shutter Island, I feel so bad, because like, you have to put up with this nonsense on the daily, and it's just like, I mean, everything Meghan is saying, they're literally approving her correct with their behavior. It is just so ridiculous. They're literally proving it. What she's saying, it's unreal. Black Queen says, she started, cookies and cream, 400 years of slavery and Jim Crow brainwashism is hard to overcome, unfortunately. Very true. Very true. But the thing about it, Black Queen, we don't have a choice, right? We have to overcome it, because what is the alternative? We don't have a choice. And so that's why we have to fight every day to overcome and to squash all of those things that cause all of our pain in this way, especially in this way. So yeah, we don't have a choice but to overcome it. Let's see. Going up, scrolling up. Cookies and Cream. Hi, Cookies and Cream. And she's responding to Black Queen that I just said. She's like, I hope so. It is disheartening to see people of color, especially Black people, put one another down. It is super discouraging to see. Really, really, really discouraging to see. Because again, we don't have much allies. We're all we got. And if we're putting each other down, then we don't have anything else. So it's just like, we have to keep each other. We're own allies. So yeah. Oh, really? I don't know this song. Beyonce explained what the definition of diva in a jar song. Diva. Go listen. Okay. I didn't know about this. Okay. I am gonna have to go. I'm not a huge Beyonce fan. I like Beyonce, but so I don't know all of her music. So and some of you are probably gonna be like, what? You don't know Beyonce's music? You're not a big fan. How could you not? No, I'm more of a Rihanna fan. For some reason, I don't know. I think it's probably a Caribbean thing too, because Rihanna is from the Caribbean. It's probably that too. But I for some reason, I just feel closer to Rihanna's music. It's more my vibe, and so yeah, I think that's probably why. But don't get me wrong, I like Beyonce. I'm just not a huge fan, and so therefore I don't know. Like, I've yet to hear her music, other than I think the first song. I think. You Can Steal My Joy or something that it's called. I don't know the rest of the music yet. So, but yeah. But maybe one day in the future, Rihanna is going to bring out some new music. I'm still jonesing on her old music, but she's doing her lingerie thing, so she's probably, and obviously she just had a baby, so there, she's like more important things to worry about than putting out music for fans. So, let's see. On the Impossible says, I was taught by both my parents never to settle for less today. I pass it on to my 5 girls and 2 boys. I have an engineer, veterinarian, and airline agents. Youngest, a geologist. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Oh, the Impossible. This is amazing. Talk about not settling for less. Wow, that is awesome. Congratulations, Mama. That is absolutely, absolutely amazing. And you know what? As you say that, it reminds me of Meghan and Mariah talking about Leontine Price, who I don't know. Like, I've heard the name Leontine Price, but I didn't know anything about Leontine Price at all. And it was so great that, and I'm sure all of a sudden Leontine Price is going to have a bunch of new fans that didn't know anything about her music. And her, Leontine Price being this great opera singer, and she grew up in Mississippi during the we're talking about Jim Crow. She grew up during the Jim Crow era, and in spite of all the challenges, as we know, with the Jim Crow era, she went on to Juilliard here in New York. She went on to study at Juilliard, and she was one of the first Black women to sing at the Met in 1961. And after her first show, she had a 42-minute standing ovation. Like, I don't even know how you do a 42-minute standing ovation, but she was a star after her first performance. 42-minute standing ovation. And one of the things she says, and you can see there, the quote from the podcast, she says, my parents also liked very much, I think the term now is called winners. They imbued in us as much as possible. I don't know what they were trying to say, as strongly as they could to be the best at what we're doing. They tried as hard as possible, never settle for, let me get rid of that scrolly thing so I can get take out a banner. Yeah, there you go. Says, try as hard as possible, never settle for mediocrity in any form. And so, yeah, I love that because, like, talk about not settling for mediocrity. This woman, again, this was during the Jim Crow era. And she, she's from Mississippi, way down south, and came to New York and, again, sang at the Metropolitan Opera. And I think she did it for, 10 years or something like that. And she's still alive. And so it was great to hear her voice. And apparently she was at, Oprah did the Legends Ball in 2005, and I had to look it up. And actually, they're talking about it because Mariah actually met her at the Legends Ball, where all of the major singers. I think Oprah had all these. I think it was like 20 different legends at her home, and here we go. Here's a Legends Ball at her home. It is, I guess, celebrating. And Mariah said she and Janet, that's Mariah in the front there with that you can see them at the bottom picture. So Mariah's like, I'm sure you guys heard it. She's like, they're sitting there and there are all these legends, and she's sitting with Janet, and they're like, oh, hi, and that's Janet and Mariah sitting at the front. But he's like, you think it's just like, well, Mariah, you're a legend as well. But it's so funny, like, but again, he's thinking like Diana Ross and Tina Turner and all, Leontine Price and all these people who have been doing this for eons. And there you are, the newbies. It must have been an amazing, incredible experience. And they were all there out at Oprah's house. And I'm telling you, Oprah has hosted amazing things at her house, and amazing people at her house. But I just think it's so amazing, to be able to have that. And that kind of memory, and to be able to be with somebody like Leontine Price, and to have that kind of a discipline, and that kind of like, no, my mom is like instilling us that we will never accept mediocrity, and it's so funny at the end, Mariah, I think it's going to be my quote for eternity, but Mariah had this incredible quote. It's like, where it is. Yeah, there we go. Mariah says, being basic is not festive. And I love this. This is going to be my quote for eternity. Being basic is like no, basic is not going to do. Being basic is not festive. So this is my thing. It's like, I will strive my hardest to not be basic, to not be mediocre, So yeah, it's just, I love it. I love that kind of heart and that passion about no matter what your situation is, never accept mediocrity. And so, yeah, let's see. Jumping into the chat for a second. Go again. Joan says, hi, Joan. Joan says, all of those haters are not motivated by money, not actual hate. Hate sells so they bring that. They join in bullying, it pays. I think a combination, definitely a combination. Again, hating Meghan is $1 billion industry. So yeah, it just, I guess, until they stop making money from that, they will continue, unfortunately. I think we just, don't play into that, and don't reward people who are hating. Focus on, celebrating and lifting up and bigging up positive and not the hate, so that you just basically make them irrelevant, which is what we need to be doing. So yeah. Leg says, unfortunately, oh, she's talking to Lydia. I need to read these things before I put it up, so I make sure I'm not jumping into a conversation. Unfortunately, Lydia, she was a mix of fake news and nicer on BBC. Okay, so I'm not really sure. That's what happens when you jump in on people's conversations that you don't know what they're talking about. So let's see. Cookies and Cream says, those racist, hateful idiots are not really paying attention to anything Meghan is really saying, because they're driven by hate. They only have a negative agenda. And yeah, I mean, people are, it's funny because you go two ways about this. It's like they're hate watching, but they're hate watching so they can have something negative. It's unreal. But with hate watching, they're also building her profile. So on the flip side of this, they're also making her money, because as they hate watch, her profile is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and her show is still number one. It's just like, again, and it's really wild that we're talking about this, because not only is again, it's still number one. Hopefully it stays number one for the next 12 weeks. That's been and beyond. But as you can see, it's number one still in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, which are the big, for us, the big markets, and number one in a host of other countries, and top 5, top 10 in a bunch of others. So I just pulled these off. But again, it's still number one. And so again, their hate and their hate watching is making this keeping this at number one. So it's only helping Meghan, although they're doing it in a hateful way. So sorry. And this is actually very interesting. In the top society and culture pages, look at what's number one and number two in the UK, no less. So it's, again, as the big lesson that I'm learning from all of this is, if we can ignore not ignore, we can push back. I don't want to say ignore, because some of it is racist and we need to call that out. But don't feed the trolls in the sense of retweeting and contacting them or any of that stuff, or tagging them. But one of the things that I'm learning about this is that they do not speak for the people. No matter how much they've been screaming and moaning and doing all of these, literally falling over a cliff with just, and everything Meghan says is a breaking news bombshell. And it's just like, do y'all know a different word? Like, pick a different word than bombshell, please. Surely what she said is not a bombshell. We've heard this before. You know what I mean? Nothing she says is a bombshell. So even if it's a little new, it's really not a bombshell. But so if the thing about it is, no matter what they do, they don't speak for the people. The people are listening. The people, that's why not only Archetypes is at number one, but Archwell's audio that they recorded over a year and something ago, it's number two. That tells you that people want to hear from Harry and Meghan. They care about what they're talking about, and they're listening. So it's just like yes, there is that minority of people, the very loud minority that are screaming, and that makes us think that, oh my gosh, all of these people hate. No, it's just that loud minority. So and a lot of them led by the numpties in the British press. As it's so funny, I use that word numpty. One of those Sussex Positive channel, the guy used to say numpty all the time. I think I just picked up that word from numpty. Michelle Fierce. Hi, Michelle Fierce. Like a action star name. She says she needs to know that the name Karen is not used literally, and it's just about an attitude. I don't know how it started, but if you know you're a good person, it has nothing to do with you. And I think this is very true. This is very, very true. But it's hard, as much as it's true, it is hard when your name is Karen, because it's our identity. Our name is we identify with our name. It's something that has been given to us since birth or whenever we got the name. You know what I mean? It's what's attached to it. And when someone comes, again, if someone were doing the same thing with the name Petal, I would have an issue, even if my character does nothing, or I have nothing to do with that. I would have an issue because that's my name. I associate it with my name. When people hear my name, and at least the people I know, I'm who they would think. So when they hear that name, putting that in a negative light, they could think me, even if I have nothing to do with that. So I totally understand where you're coming from, Michelle, but I totally understand the other side as well. And so that's why, for me, I won't do that again. I will not refer to someone as a Karen, because I would be hurt. And so I am happy that Karen brought that up, because I hadn't thought of that. Because if I put my, again, if I don't know how attached you are to the name Michelle, but if it was a Michelle, I mean, I'm assuming it'll have some kind of reaction naturally. So I totally get from both sides, but I would have an issue. And guys, I think Duchess of Success might be starting. So if you need to run off to Duchess of Success, this is going to be here. You can always come back and watch it on the replay. That is totally fine. I'm not sure if I'll be able to join over there later, but if not, you can come back and see it on the replay. Drop me a message in comments later. Have fun over at Duchess of Sussex. Tell her I love her. So I love listening to her when I'm doing stuff. She has such a calming voice and has like the best voice. I love it. Let's see. Let's see. H Knight says, I'm surprised they're not trying to build up their mediocre royals in Willie, Leaks, and Kate. I'm not sure who you're talking about. So, actually, I forgot about them. we've been so focused on Meghan that I forgot about the others. I mean, not really, like, in terms of like talking about this now, I remember them usually on Twitter and something comes up like today. But I as we were talking about this, I completely forgot about them. So let's see what else. Hi, terrific Tuesday to you, Church Nelly. Thursday, I was like, terrific Tuesday. Oh, got my phone back from my soon to be put out, soon to be put up for adoption son. He stole your phone again. I'm telling you, you need to put a lock and key on your phone, Church Nelly. That's what you need to do. So, seriously. It's like it's soon to be adopted out. Let's see. A couple more. Diane says, she's agreeing with me. I agree with you, Pell. The haters have isolated themselves as an overly loud, a small group of patrons who are intent on sensationalizing everything Sussex. Otherwise, they're fans. I mean, they are definitely hate what are listening. And so, again, Meghan's name and her profile, or at least her profile, is definitely building because they're hate listening. And then they come and scream. And then what we have to do is just let them scream into the void and not give them any, like kind of clicks. So there. Let's see. A few more before we go on. Benful Joy. Hello, Benful Joy. How are you? Benful Joy says, a lot of those people who don't like Meghan, it's just jealousy and envy. It is really bad when people allow jealousy to consume them. Yeah, it just incredible jealousy. It just, and I don't remember who it is on Twitter, and I think we've talked about it here before about the fact that Meghan, I think it was Natasha Devon, I think she was like a LBC radio personality. She was saying that she just realized that the reason people are so mad, especially women are so mad at Meghan, is because Meghan, sort of like trampled on their fantasy in the sense of like she went and lived their fantasy and said no, bye. And they just can't handle it. They can't handle it. Plus, she got the man they want. And they just can't handle it. And it's just like you would think after, they got married in 2018. You think after all this time, they'd be like, okay, let me just go get my own. This is not going to happen. I am not the one. They're just still going. They are just going and going and going and going with this. So, yeah. Cynthia's here. Hi, Cynthia. Cynthia says, the Karen started, I think, during COVID when a woman with the name called the police on a black person. Since then, all women calling on a black person is labeled a Karen. Okay, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. But then again, and yes, during the pandemic, there's been a lot of these situations. Whole lot. I mean, where people would be calling the police on children. I mean, it was ridiculous. And so, and totally understand the situation. The problem is for the other Karens who, one, have nothing to do with that, and who, again, are sensitive to their names. And, again, you identify with your name. And so it's bad for them. Because, you think of their friends and family when they're online and they see this person as a Karen, naturally they will think, oh, my friend Karen, or my sister or my daughter Karen. And if I was a parent of a Karen, this would hurt me all the time. I feel like, can I just change your name? You know what I mean? Not, trying to be a little funny here, but it's not funny. And so it just, I totally, thank you for explaining this. And I do remember there's been a lot. But yeah, it's not fair for the Karens who are not, who had nothing to do with that. Well, here's a different take on it. Michelle says, Petal, I do understand the other side. Maybe I'm too self-assured and confident. It's like going to a party and someone else has the same dress on as me. It wouldn't bother me. I still feel unique and okay. Well, that's definitely a different take, and I appreciate that. The difference, I think, with this is you can always take off your dress and you can change into pants, and you can always take off your dress. It's something you can take off and put on. Your name is your name. You know what I mean? It's a little harder to take, to get rid of your name, especially if you've identified with it as your child. As a child, you don't identify with a dress as a child. You know what I mean? Or maybe some people do. Maybe you have clothes that you've had since childhood and you identify with. I'm not saying people don't, but the chances of identifying with his clothes from the time you were born is different from identifying with a name, which is your identity. So that for me is where it's different. But I do get what you're saying. I do understand. And no, you're not too confident. You're just confident. Yeah, you should be. And self-assured and hello. I wish we all are that. So thank you for sharing. I'm so happy that you are in that place of such, confidence and self-assuredness. Please help me get there. I'm trying. I am definitely trying. So thank you, Michelle, for sharing that. I appreciate that, help us all to get there, Michelle. I appreciate you sharing that. Just a couple more things about this what else did I have? Oh, guys, did you, I actually was done this before. Remember Meghan was asking about, Mariah, about about 3 words to describe herself. And at the top, Mariah said, I don't have just 3 words. That's why people have to buy my memoir and watch the adaptation, because Meghan says, okay, you can have as many words you want. And Mariah said, sad, lonely, and aspirational. There you go. And Meghan says, and Mariah says, we'll go with sad, lonely, and eventually triumphant. And I think, and again, I love their rawness. I love their realness. And she's not trying to pretend. You think of her and she's happy, and you see her on social media and she has these glamorous pictures and all of that. And she has these witty quotes and all of those things. But, when you look at what she says sad, lonely, and aspirational. I never thought of Mariah Carey as sad and lonely. I never. And she says eventually triumphant. And I think it's so easy for us to think of, well, Mariah Carey has all the money in the world. She has fame. She has how many Grammys? She's Mama Diva. And, she embraces her divaness. She loves that. She's like, no, it's fun, it's light. And so that's how she thinks of diva. I mean, she sees both sides of it, but she embraces it and have fun with it. I don't attach sad and lonely to those things. And for her to say she's sad and she's lonely, and she's, she thinks she has kids and she has all these people around her, and yet that's the way she describes herself, yet aspirational and eventually triumphant. And I think it's so important, again, going back to where when Meghan talks and she shares how she's feeling, one of the things that gets thrown back at her all the time is that she's rich and living in a $14 million house, what she has to be complaining about. That's what you hear all the time. And people are sad and lonely. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care what their status is. I don't care. People are sad and lonely. And that is what we should care about. Because I wouldn't want anyone, no matter how much money you have, and you hear these situations so many times. A lot of times you see people with tons of money and all this stuff, and you have all this statue that you're either on drugs, you are, medicating yourself, there are mental issues, there all of these things. Because again, we know having a lot of money doesn't mean you're happy. It doesn't buy happiness, it doesn't buy joy, and so that's why for me, I don't care. I'm a very much a person. I have no respect of person in the sense of I don't care what people's financial situation is. I don't care what your titles are. I really don't care. I see people as people. And I hope that, as more and more people are sharing, especially love that Harry and Meghan always talking about their mental health and mental fitness, that people understand that they are people. They are not money. They are not their houses. They are not fabulous house and fabulous property. They are human beings with feelings and emotions. And I hope people understand when they see that they will really pay attention to what Mariah said. She's sad and lonely. So that us who know about it, we can, she's on social media, we can be tweeting positive things to her and sending her love and sending her in whatever way we can, reach out to make sure that she doesn't stay in this sad and lonely place. And yes, she's aspiration. She has dreams. She talks about faith. And I forgot to bring in that thing she brought in. She talked about faith, and again, faith is, being certain of something you don't see. So she isn't there yet. She's not at the place where she wants to be. She's not at the triumphant place yet, but she has faith she's going to get there. She's not there yet. And we need to make sure that she gets there. And I feel like we need to do that with so many other people that we could feel like, oh, well, who am I to maybe send a positive note or a positive card or a positive something to. And we could feel like, well, they're also rich and talented and stuff. They're not going to want to hear from me. We don't know where people are. And so I just hope that all of us, knowing this, can really reach out. That she doesn't stay in the sad, lonely place. And those are the things for me. That's why I'm always wanting to support our faith, making sure that Harry and Meghan know we love them, because I understand it so well. Harry and Meghan are not money. They're not their money. They're not their property. They're not their, they're not their Spotify deals. They're not their, whatever deals they have. They're not that. They're human beings with feelings and emotions. So I'm always wanting to make sure that we are supporting them and praying for them, and they know that we love them, because that is what people need. And so I hope Mariah's community can really pay attention to this and really support and be there. And I'm going to tweet out, as much as possible, because I know she's on social media, send her positive thoughts and whatever else I can to do my part in making sure that she doesn't stay in a place of sad and loneliness. So I hope, I want to encourage all of us, if you're able and if you think about it, to do the same, so if you ever, so we, I guess like, oh, we're just a fandom. No, we are people just supporting people and making sure that people know they're loved. So yeah. Let's see. So true, Trish. He says, all money does is give you more. Give you more options. It doesn't make you happy. Exactly. You definitely have more options. You are able to do stuff. Those things doesn't mean you're happy. So yeah. People need people. And that's it. It's a cliche, but we need each other. Jennifer says, so true, Pedal. God is the only true source of eternal happiness. And I hope we all have that. Eternal happiness. God, that would be amazing. Eternal happiness. Let's see. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Let's see. Actually, let's go. Changing the subject just a little bit. Just one more thing that so funny. I saw it just before I came on, and I was like, let me hurry up. Literally, I have not even read this yet. I just saw a piece of the video. But our boy, Meghan is off there doing her thing, and our boy Harry is doing his thing. This popped up. I was like, oh, I haven't even read it. So you and I are going to read this together, and we're going to figure out what it says together. But apparently what happened, this gentleman, he's either from the Walking with the Wounded or from Invictus. And he went on a, I guess either walking or biking around the UK, but he wasn't able to finish because he had, I think something went wrong with his tummy or something. And so he was really surprised. And Harry gave him a call. And so he posted the video today. And his name is Lee Spencer. He says, I am so lucky to have the support of the Duke of Sussex, and was bowled over when he called me to chat when I ended the triathlon. It didn't finish the way I hoped, and I was bitterly disappointed, feeling that I had let my team and everyone who had supported me down. But his very kind words have helped me to process that disappointment and start to see a lot of positives. When you put your head above the parapet and attempt something that no one, either able-bodied or disabled, had tried before, then there's a chance that it wouldn't work out the way you wanted or planned. I will continue to prove that no one should be defined by disability and keep wounded and injured servicemen and women in in the nation's conscious. And I'm sorry, sir, because I can't promise my next challenge won't be as extreme, but perhaps next time you'll join me. That's awesome. Just Giving page is still open, and it's total. And in total, we've raised almost 90,000 for the RM charity. Not even sure what the RM charity again. I just saw this and pulled it in. So I will put the link in the show notes. You can check it out, and we can all probably learn it together. Because again, if you'd like to show your support, head over to Just Giving, and they put the link to the triathlon there. But it was just so awesome. Look at Harry looking awesome and fabulous, hanging out in his throne room. And so I love the fact that they talked about, and I'm going to do an episode about the cut. I didn't even get a chance to do it yesterday, but I'll do a separate episode about the cut interview. And so Harry, I just love this. Harry just looks so happy and contented in his home. And I just absolutely love this for them. So, yep, there you go. You've learned, as I have learned, again, I'm just reading that with you. So I don't know any more about it than you do. So I'm going to put the link so we'll all learn it together. I just was happy, because we've been really focused on Meghan the last couple of times. So I wanted to make sure pull something for Harry in there as well. But yes. So let's see a couple more before we end. Oh gosh, it's 1 hour and 46 minutes. Wow, that is awesome. Lydia says, gratefully, Spencer and Harry looks great. I'm telling you, right? Harry looks awesome. Fabulous. Polo did well. Polo did him well in Colorado. And actually, Nacho, I just saw on their Instagram that they are done in Colorado. They are back on their way back home. I don't know if it's home in their home in Argentina or in Florida, which they sort of like live all over. But they said they're on their way home. So so they're done with the summer and Polo here. So who knows? Looking forward to see them the next time with our faves. That would be awesome. Let's see. A couple more before we end. Cookies and Cream says, they make it seem like Meghan being successful, accomplished is a dirty thing. They don't think that she's supposed to possess nice things. I think that's our British squatties can correct me if I'm wrong. I think that is a thing with the UK. They really look at ambition as a dirty thing. They look at people who are pursuing their dreams, it seems, as a dirty thing. If you notice, a lot of, especially like actors and stuff, they all would leave the UK and come to the US to get, to basically make it. Or if they start making it in the UK, they will leave. Because there is a negativity towards, success. They're okay with, say, the royals, like they're okay with rich people being successful. They're okay with, the whatever, the nobility class, whatever you call that, the high class ones, like the Sussexes. I'm sorry, not the Sussexes, the royal family. I forgot what they call them, but anyway, they're okay because they're the class that they feel like they're supposed to be. They're supposed to have that money. They are supposed to have that riches. But they're not okay with their own people, because a lot of people who are critical of this are people who are the one of no standings. But yet they're critical of each other if they're striving to become better than, what they grew up in. For example, they don't understand, that's why they are so confused as to why their attacks on Meghan, especially she's ambitious, she's all of these things. They're sort of confused why America, it doesn't read in America, because in America it's like you can start from dirt poor and grow up to be a multi-billionaire. A lot of them they have that history. So they don't understand why that narrative is. Americans like, yeah, and what? You know what I mean? And so it seems like that's the thing. It is like a dirty word there. And so it's just like they don't understand why Meghan isn't grateful just to be able to kiss royalty feet. They don't. They just seem like befuddled. Like, what do you mean you don't want to kiss royalty feet? That's the highest you can be. That's the highest station you're allowed. How dare you think you can go or want to go beyond that? It's just, it's weird and warped thinking, but that's what I see. So again, our British squatties, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's Rhonda says there's a class system. They don't want anyone else to have what they have or were born into. There you go. There's a big thing too. But a lot of people who are of no standing are part of the people that are pulling down anybody who wants to strive. It's like, well, you want to strive, I'm going to pull you down and make sure that you're less than I am. I was like, but you're nothing right now. You're not doing anything. But it's weird. They would rather give millions and millions of dollars to billionaires than to help someone at their own station to move up. And it's just like, that's why they don't understand American culture, because it's like, we're not going to give you, willingly give millionaire people money. I mean, they will take it out of the taxes where we have no choice, but I'm not going to willingly give a millionaire money that, or think that they have a right to this and be okay with it when me and my fellow people, we're struggling over here. It's just unreal. But let's see. Couple more. I keep saying couple more. One more before we go. Diane says Americans socialize to believe that we should work to improve our station. We aren't meant. Hang on 1 second. Close this door. Sorry about that. Americans are socialized to believe that we should work to improve our station. We aren't meant to be born to anything and go no further. Mindset is always do better. Perfect. This is exactly it. Exactly. We are not, we're not meant to just stay. Our mindset is you got to improve, you got to grow, you got to, you can, and also too, it's like you have the opportunity to grow and become. So, and that's the thing that is not, it's not in the UK. It's like, you're where you are and you stay there for the rest of your life. That's sick. I don't understand why you want to be in a culture like that. That's just sick. So anyways, that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much to our awesome moderators. As we know, Lydia and Church Nelly, Karen M, Julia Rock, Cookies and Cream. Thank you all so much for always being amazing and keeping our space safe and fun and exciting. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much to our awesome 2 Cents Crew members who, support the channel on the monthly. Thank you. Let me just move this so you guys get to see all of our 2 Cents Crew members. Thank you. This certainly did not, the top that didn't come out the way I did it. And I don't know why StreamYard always messes up my thing when I pull it in here. But thank you all so much. I appreciate your support of the channel. And my next one, I'm going to get all the others who have been supporting us throughout so that we have a long list of all our incredible supporters. I appreciate you guys so much. All of you who have been supporting in the chat, with the super chats and super thanks and PayPal and Cash App. I'm going to have a list of all of you here as well. Thank you so much for your help, your support always. And, just want to encourage us to just continue to support each other, continue to support our faves, reach out and, send some love to Mariah, that way to help her to not stay in that space of feeling lonely and sad. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. I will be dropping the next video uncut. I have to record it and I will drop it either later tonight or tomorrow, one of those. So thank you guys. Have a fantastic day. Have a, whatever you're doing the rest of the day, have fun. And I guess I will see you next time. We're gonna head on out of here with some inner space music. I didn't even get to do my change music today. Maybe tomorrow. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you all so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.